All right, so let's talk about this concept. Let's talk about why you cannot afford to continue being selfish, and then why your selflessness must be inspired by different thinking, not the predominant thoughts in the land. And I'm saying this because I'm in Nigeria, southwest of Africa, and even though we have no business with poverty, and we should not be in the state we are in as a country and as a continent as a whole, we are in this street, and we have to admit that we are in the chaos that we are in right now as a nation and as a continent. And in order to move outside this space, we must become selfless. And part of the selflessness that we must begin to exhibit are selflessness that would probably cost us big time. These are not selflessness that would that is cheap or in any way going to favor the norm. These are selflessness that would require you to have some different level of thought, and in some way, because if it is not norm, then it's abnormal. It's calculated, it's going to be reasonable, it's going to be based on fact and truth, but it's not going to make sense to the normal person. So one of the things that we must deliberately work as a nation to stop is the fact and the need to continue bringing life into existence that will be brought up with surviving skill. Did you hear what I just said? Let me say that again. One of the things that we must stop if the story and if our narrative would definitely change at some point or the other is that we must deliberately work on the fact that we are not bringing into this our world another soul with the mindset of a survivor, and we are deliberately making sure that the souls that are already on right now, that are already tailored towards survivor, must be rescued. You are not making any difference if you bring into this world another person that will reason and live life at the level you are living it right now. I don't care at the highest level you're living it, but I'm sure of one thing: the record is there for a fact that Africa, with the level of living that we are living right now, in Nigeria, with the level of living that we are in right now, no single soul deserves to be introduced again into this world. No single soul. With highest level of children outside school, with the most degrading form of living in human existence, no single soul supposed to be introduced into this land. Whether you have even figure out a way of giving birth to them outside this space, because you know that there's a problem. See, that's the point. Whether you decided to take yours abroad or you've decided to give birth to them, but you recognize we both are on the same page when we conclude that there is a problem in Africa and with Africa. So how do we resolve them? First, we must not become selfish, and we cannot stop the selfish act that we have developed that is strange to us as people and as a continent as a whole. It's strange. It's strange that Africa is now selfish. Africa is no longer selfless. That Africans are not selfless. Strange. But let's move on. So we must make sure that we do not raise another soul like us. Yes, like you. You do not raise another soul like you. You do not become so selfish that you no longer care about living and rather surviving. And one of the major elements that is tailored to us surviving is to us not living and to the state that we are in right now of being selfish, is that we are now surviving. It's now survivor. It's not the survivor of the fittest. It's wrong. It's wrong. Universe didn't bless us with this so much prosperity for just survival. In fact, no human being should be talking about surviving. We should be talking about thriving at least. But we've been here. We are here. So going forward, what should we do? First, make sure you're not adding to the problem, even if you can solve it. And if you want to solve it, go to the streets, find children in orphanages home, find children on the street and adopt them, take them in as yours, and consider that as your project to humanity, to the race of Africa, to the race of the black people, to the race of Nigeria, and to the race of the world entirely. We must stop this art of selfishness and embrace this selflessness which we have, which is normal to us, which is natural to us, and raise lives to thrive, not to survive.